Hello everybody, and welcome back to another OgreCast. I am Ogre, and I will be your host for this wonderful game of Starcraft 2 between Shadowsbane and KillerB, both Protoss, and Futtbuck, a Terran, and Rawr the Zerg. And for any of you guys who have listened to my previous casts, I have found it kind of difficult to get used to talking at a computer. But I don't know if any of you have tried it, but it is a little bit unnatural. So what I have done is I have gone and got myself a lair set up, and so that's where I'm sitting right now. It's actually an abandoned floor of an office building, so nobody knows what I'm doing. Nobody can hear what I'm saying. I can say pretty much whatever I want and have no fear that somebody is going to call me a nerd or geek or dweeb, which, though it is true, is also very hurtful. So I'm going to take advantage of that and say exactly what I want, when I want, as loud as I want. Poop. Fart. Okay, now that that's out of my system, I think we can start paying attention to what everybody's doing here. It's still early in the game, so of course nobody's going to be doing too much that's that interesting. Checking out what the scouting is pretty much all we can do at this early point in the game. That's why I normally fast forward through it, but with a 2v2, sometimes I do like to slow it down just a little bit, because later on a lot more stuff starts happening, kind of harder to follow. So yeah, watching probes is something that I can do fairly effectively. We've got Futtbuck up in KillerB's base. Gets a decent scout off. He is going to see that gateway. He's not going to see whether a second gateway or cyber core goes up for KillerB. So that's pretty much all he's going to be able to spot, is that gateway, which is no information whatsoever. Looks like Shadowsbane is running in. Sees the Roach Warren. Two Zerglings are really going to be in trouble for this probe. Yeah, that probe is dead. And looks like Shadowsbane has killed the SCV with two of his own probes. However, the Cyber Core was spotted, so no 2-gate from Shadowsbane. And Futtbuck and Rawr are going to be pretty safe, knowing that there's no rush coming. We got the second gateway coming up for Shadowsbane. He finally reports that a Roach Warren is going up. Saw that ages ago, but that's okay. KillerB already knows it's up. But, maybe Shadowsbane figured that KillerB would notice and then decided he better say something anyways. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. Who cares? We got two more barracks going up for a 3 racks build from Futtbuck, which generally means lots of Marines, lots of Marauders. We know no Reaper has come out of this early tech lab. We know Rawr is going to go Roaches. He's finally getting his second extractor up. KillerB's second gateway is up. His Cyber Core is not researching Warp Gate. Looks like a little bit of lag here. Now, just checking it out. Yeah, Shadowsbane has a much earlier Warp Gate coming in than KillerB, who still has not started researching that. Usually you want to get that off as early as possible. And he had 100 gas saved up. I don't know if he's planning on making gas-intensive units or something like that early. So, anyway, I'm not sure what KillerB's thinking is on that. Maybe he just forgot. I don't know. I'll maybe ask him later. Now, KillerB and Shadowsbane are two people I know in real life. So, maybe I'm going to point that out to him if he ever watches this replay. And he will be able to explain to me why hold off on the Warp Gate tech. Now, this hatchery is turning into a lair. Basically for roach speed is what I'm going to assume. Little tiny army of roaches and zerglings. A little bit more scary of an army of Marines and Marauders, and they are massing up in the center. Looks like a little bit of aggression is probably going to be coming. Let's see how these guys are doing. KillerB has an okay force here. Shadowsbane, again, like the army size is probably pretty similar. Yeah, yeah, pretty similar for everybody. Now Rawr is falling a little behind. Okay, here's the incoming. We got the Marines and Marauders going up first. The 3 roaches come in the back. It would have been nice if Rawr could have gotten up in front because of the range of Marauders and Marines. KillerB taking some hits there. Big retreat from Shadowsbane. KillerB looks like he's in trouble. Calling Shadowsbane a traitor there for the retreat. Shadowsbane must have been pretty frightened there of that Marine Marauder force. Focusing down the pylons here, which is going to mean trouble if he finishes it off, and he does. Now let's see. Looks like really good focus fire from Shadowsbane. That's exactly how you take out a Marine Marauder force. You have to use your Stalkers to focus those Marauders. And really good control by Shadowsbane. He was able to kill probably a scarier force. I mean, it is fairly well known that Marauders can beat pretty much any gateway unit in pure damage dealt, but because he focused his Stalkers there, he was able to take out the Marine Marauder force. Now Futtbuck is sending more guys rallied up to the center there. I don't know if he's planning on pushing himself here or what, but I mean, he knows that Shadowsbane is going to have more troops than him, so it'd be pretty bad if he pushes in right now. No, it looks like he's just going to mass right there. More troops coming, lots more roaches, Marines and Marauders. Now KillerB had to rebuild these pylons, so he is really short on units. Fortunately, Shadowsbane is really pumping out some units pretty hard. Now look at these roaches staying burrowed. They could really be doing some damage, but they are not. Really only 1 injured roach. No excuse for that. I mean, those 5 roaches would have had a major effect on this battle, and only a couple of these units probably would have survived. But looks like he's doing the Jaws thing and burrowing his way into the SCV line. I got some more lag here. I don't know what it is. There was some lag back with the patch, and I'm wondering if it's anything to do with that. KillerB decides to run all of his probes out of the way of these roaches. He knows not to fight back because these roaches can just burrow as soon as they get low on health. So no sense sacrificing your probes. Shadowsbane holding off this Marine Marauder force, but looks like the Observer is on the way from Shadowsbane, and he's going to need it to fend these roaches off out of KillerB's base. Upgrade coming for ground unit weapons for KillerB. He needs to make those 2 fresh gateways into warp gates. And looks like he's going to be able to fend those roaches off. We are amassing a large troop in the center here again. Now, knowing that all of these units were in KillerB's base, if they wanted to be